Better out than in, I always say. And unfortunately for everyone involved, that includes today's tech
Is that
news. That was
Shrek?
barely Shrek.
That was good. I
It was
honestly,
okay, man.
but I also heard a crazy guy would have liked it.
China has quietly made progress on one of the hardest problems in modern chip making, extreme ultraviolet lithography. According to a Reuters investigation,
The sources spoke on condition did not be identified due to the confidentiality of the project. Bro, bro, if they get found out, they're gonna get disappeared. One veteran Chinese engineer from ASML recruited to the project was surprised to find that his generous signing bonus came with an identification card issued under a false name. That is how serious that shit is. According to one of the people who was familiar with his recruitment, once inside, he recognized other former ASML colleagues who were also working under aliases and was instructed to use their fake names at work to maintain secrecy, the person said. Another person independently confirmed that recruits were given fake IDs to conceal their identities from other workers inside the secure facility. I mean, that's the atomic bomb, right? The name of the project is comparing this project to the atomic bomb. That's how big they think this is, right? The guidance was clear. The two people said classified under national security. No one outside the compound could know what they were building or that they were there at all. The team includes recently retired Chinese born former ASML engineers and scientists. Prime recruitment targets because they possess sensitive technical knowledge but face fewer professional constraints after leaving the company. Bro, that's pretty crazy. But I mean, yeah.
researchers at a high security lab in Shenzhen have built a prototype EUV lithography machine, a device.
Okay, so that means they wouldn't need to rely on Taiwan because right now, oh man, what's it called? Chips supply chain map. All right, so this is how it goes, right? So it starts in the United States. Okay, is it big enough? Oh, sorry. Okay, so it's the global supply chain of the smartphone processor. So you can just imagine that this is the same thing, most likely because it's still semiconductors, still the same memory. So uh, it wouldn't be the whole process depending on what is the product manufactured, but it still is worldwide supply chain. So let's see. The first step is starts in the United States. So there are firms that provide software for chip designs, which may rely on intellectual property licenses from Europe. So here, we still haven't made the design yet, right? So we have here the or have we software which may rely whatever the fuck. So afterwards we got the equipment manufacturing equipment is developed in the United States, Japan, and Europe. Then we got the materials. Silicon is mined and refined in the United States and then processed into wafers into Japan and South Korea. And then manufacturing chips are manufactured and packaged in Taiwan and Malaysia, and eventually assembled into smartphones in mainland China. So as you can see here from this example, China China doesn't get anything. It doesn't get it doesn't get to build the chips. It doesn't get to have access to the intellectual property that is licensed from you know some countries in Europe. Um, it doesn't get the raw materials. It's unable to do the process. So if this is real, This year, China has reportedly built its first EUV machine prototype. That means, yeah, marking a semiconductor breakthrough the US has feared all along. So that means they remove themselves from the dependency of the worldwide supply chain. So there's information that they could have stolen. So they could have stolen intellectual property. They could have stolen the software to build this. And so they could have stolen the raw materials as well. And so now they will have everything that they would need to be able to produce chips or memory, so they wouldn't be dependent. They would be able to improve on their own. And since that would be scary for the United States, because they wouldn't be sensitive to the what the tax, the the importing tax, tariffs. Oh my god, I'm sorry. So they wouldn't be subject to the tariffs anymore. They would be able to work on their own and improve. So that's pretty
Device
crazy.
essential for producing advanced semiconductors and long monopolized by the Dutch company ASML. They love monopolies. These are massive, delicate, wildly expensive systems, and no company outside of the Netherlands has successfully built one until now, kind of. And maybe not really. China's prototype already
prototype?
generates EUV light and reportedly fills nearly an entire factory floor, although it has not yet produced working chips.
Yeah, that's the thing, because this is so precise. I think we should have a quick look on how it's made. That's pretty crazy. So the thing is, even with everything almost perfect and a controlled
make this-
environment, there are still percentages of wafers that are defective or unusable. So if you have something that a machine that would be only a prototype, most likely the failure rate would be very high, close to 100%, if it's you know a work in progress or very early in development.
Happened, China recruited former ASML engineers, many of them Chinese born and recently retired, offering them massive signing bonuses and housing incentives. One engineer reportedly arrived on his first day of work and was handed a fake ID with a new false name on it, and when he went in the doors, he discovered a bunch of his old co-workers, all with snazzy new names too. Bill!
That's crazy, because if that's the case, it would have been like stolen intellectual property, and then it would make sense that the Chinese government would try to protect them in that way.
Me now. Me too. We're all Jeremy. Apparently, everyone was instructed to go by their new aliases and to never acknowledge the project outside of the compound. To make things even more interesting, it kind of sounds like this is a skunkworks project, with China buying up parts from older ASML machines in used markets to get around all those
That's
pesky
crazy.
export controls.
That's crazy.
This scheme
Oh, who is this Samsung 2nm chip? Oh fuck, man. All right.
works out, it would be kind of wild, because it's basically the plot of the Red movies. The retired Black Ops agents replaced by semiconductor equipment engineers. The only thing these operatives are assassinating is the US hegemony. Okay, yeah, that works.
Was that before Bruce Willis started having dementia?
The global RAM shortage, being driven largely by AI companies buying up massive amounts of memory, is about to push PC and smartphone prices higher, and it doesn't look like it's going to stop anytime soon. An IDC market analysis warns that the crunch could last well into 2020.
Well into 2020. Okay, hold on. So the title here even is misleading. In late 2025, the global semiconductor ecosystem is experiencing an unprecedented memory chip shortage with knock-on effects for the device manufacturers and end users that could persist well into 2027. I don't know. Look at that. Look at that. It's going to impact it in 2026, 100%, 100%. And they know. Okay, so they're trying to, soften the blow. Everybody knows that this is going to persist into 2027. Okay, because if there's a shortage, as soon as the stock comes back up, people are going to jump on it, and so the price is they're going to stay up. Even if we do start to get access to these components. And so right now we have RAM, we have Samsung SSD. All right, Samsung to have SATA SSD. And this week we got NVIDIA to lower GPU production. And so we got 4 days ago NVIDIA to cut gaming GPU production by 30 to 40% starting in 2026. So this is gonna be a whole wombo combo of shit, right? So there are zero chances that it gets back to normal next year. And there's little chances that it gets back to normal in 2027. This is gonna be fucked for a minute.
2027, and that major PC and phone makers are already preparing further price increases as the memory supply tightens.
Further price increases and lower quality components. Samsung to use 4 gigabit of RAM next year. So, and this as well. 4 gigabits of RAM in smartphones by 2026, because of course, and don't think micro SDs are going to be any better. This only means that they're going to offload the responsibility of the phone storage onto you. So instead of having like a 512 gigabytes memory for your phone, you could have like 64 gigabytes, and the operating system is going to take up like 20 gigabytes. And so you're going to be left with about 40 gigabytes. And so they're going to tell you, oh, but you have your very own micro SD slot, so you can put as much memory as you want in it. And so you're going to have to buy your own micro SD memory, and this is going to be also affected by the shortage because this is some flash memory. So there's going to be a byproduct issue of this whole situation, which is beautiful.
Apparently, Apple and Samsung are a bit insulated from all this because they secure their RAM 12 to 24 months in advance, so they probably won't increase their prices.
Highly doubt that.
Because they would have
Samsung hikes memory chip prices by up to 60%. So it hasn't happened yet. The shortage is not here. Everybody's trying to make a little quick buck off of this beautiful situation.
No reason to do that just because every other company in the market is doing that,
Right.
All this pressure to get RAM is causing some wacky behavior in enthusiast spaces, as older CPUs like AMD's Ryzen 7 5800X3D are now selling on eBay for way more than newer chips, simply because they let people use the only slightly cheaper DDR4 memory. Yet this memory shortage hasn't stopped NVIDIA from releasing its RTX Pro 5000 Blackwell GPU with a massive 72 gigabytes of GDDR7
Wow.
targeting AI developers, data scientists, and creative professionals. On Monday, we covered rumors that NVIDIA was slowing production of its lower to mid-tier 5000 series gaming GPUs, and we kind of joked that it was because they were moving the GDDR7 RAM from those cards into more expensive products. Well, I guess we now know where all the RAM went. Ooh, I'm over here. Can't catch me. Apple has announced sweeping changes to iOS that
What do you
are
mean?
legitimately big in Japan. As of this week, iPhone users in Japan can officially sideload apps, meaning developers can distribute
No
apps
way.
outside the App Store using alternative marketplaces like AltStore. This comes as part of Apple's effort to comply with Japan's new competition rules
So
and is
now
only the
it's
latest
Japan
example of
and
regulators
EU,
forcing a crack into
but not
Apple's
here.
famously locked down ecosystem. That said, this is still Apple, so the freedom comes with fine print. Apple will continue collecting fees on third-party in-app payments and even on web purchases tied to iOS apps. Epic Games CEO
Oh,
Tim Sweeney
wow.
has of course already criticized the changes, arguing that Apple is still taxing developers even when it is no longer providing distribution or payment processing. An accusation Apple
But to be honest, I don't think Fortnite has anything to complain about. Epic Store is a big ass store, and they make a lot of money with that.
is happy to lean into. The tech giant's updated developer agreement gives the company new powers to recover unpaid fees owed by devs who had the gall to conduct their business outside of Apple's holy dominion. I see what you have hidden. Your every atom cries out for penitence. So while this is ultimately progress, it's a little bit more of a sour apple than a sweet one, if you know what I'm saying. A sweet apple? Well, that'll be our sponsor. Ugreen and their NAS
Nice.
TH4300
Yeah,
Plus.
Ugreen.
This bad boy is chunky
I mean,
with
I'm a
storage
sucker
space of
for
up to
Ugreen
120
products.
terabytes and a big old compatibility list for third-party hardware.
Bro, don't you think it's just a little bit on the nose to present a NAS? We won't be able to afford the discs inside in like 15 minutes.
Hard drives. What? You don't think you can handle that? Well, guess what? Even as a beginner, you can set up and use the Ugreen NAS easily with its step-by-step system guide. You might as well call those other NASs just plain nasty, because the DH4300 Plus comes with a
bro,
built-in
that
AI
was-
smart recognition and classification function to identify and classify
I'm pissed at myself at how much I like that one.
photos of people, places, animals, you name it. When you're done that, this thing easily connects to Google Drive to upload and download files fast because it comes equipped with a 2.5 gigabit Ethernet port. However, you best believe that all of your data is stored locally in your own drives. You're not uploading it to a stinky old cloud. It's all just for you. So thanks to Ugreen for sponsoring this video. Check them out at the link below and get 15% off on the DH4300 Plus and the
Ugreen, if we ever get there, hit me up. I love it. They make very good quality products. I love it.
Ugreen NAS series until the 28th. Ogres are like onions.
Okay.
Unsort the quick bits. They have layers. And sometimes they make you want to cry.
Yeah.
Riot Games has discovered a critical
We saw that earlier this week. So unless you update your BIOS, you're not going to be able to run their anti-cheat, and they're going to ban you from playing because of the exploit is it's pretty good. It's in the BIOS, so it wouldn't be able to be noticed by the operating system, and then it's able to write directly into the RAM. So it's a pretty good exploit.
motherboard flaw that lets hard
But you need to have access physically to the BIOS, so it's not like too dangerous for your computer, but it does make cheating possible. Could make cheating possible. So that's why they try to nip it in the bud.
hardware level cheats slip in and activate before anti-cheat software even wakes up. The bump in the night was real. The issue affects boards from Asus, Gigabyte, MSI, and ASRock, where a security feature called IOMMU isn't fully initializing at boot, despite looking like it is. Riot worked with manufacturers to push BIOS updates, and now Valorant players who don't update their systems will be blocked with a VAN restriction, meaning that your account will be flagged for using cheater-adjacent hardware. Oh yeah, what about innocent until proven guilty, huh? Some legal system! Sir, this is a hero shooter. LG
What you
has
doing with
backed
an
down after
8-bit though controller to your pants? Yeah, they're going to let people do it, but it hasn't happened yet.
TV owners freaked out when a Microsoft Copilot app suddenly appeared on their home screens and could not be uninstalled. Well, LG has heard their cries and says it will allow users to delete Copilot
Yeah, when?
if they want. Although
Look,
they
look,
also
look. December 18.
and says it will allow
Shit. December 19.
and could not be uninstalled. Well, LG has heard their cries and says it will allow users to delete Copilot if they want. Although they also clarified that it was only a browser shortcut, not a built-in app.
Who gives a fuck? People are still at this moment unable to remove it, so
All this fuss over a little shortcut, don't you feel silly? No, actually, turns out quietly injecting an AI chatbot into a device people use to watch movies was not the vibe. Several
yeah, I ranted about that a whole bunch. So if it does feel like they're gonna make you have conversations with your TV, so it resumes for you TV shows that are too complicated for your own little stupid brain to understand. So I think that's beautiful. I can't wait for it. And we also saw this, thankfully, this specific one, this specific extension was removed from the Google Chrome extension store. But there are still other ones. And this specific company prods themselves in doing these type of things in their other extensions as well. So, I mean, this is one that came into the forefront, but there's obviously a whole bunch of other extensions that do the exact same thing.
popular browser extensions with more than 8 million installs have been quietly harvesting users' full AI conversations and selling them for marketing purposes. Security researchers found the extensions inject scripts directly into sites like ChatGPT, Claude from Anthropic, Gemini, Copilot, and those other
But it's still not technically illegal because it is mentioned in the terms and conditions. So
ones and record everything that gets said. Even worse, many of these extensions were labeled featured in Chrome and Edge stores. So yeah, that random free VPN you were using for therapy time with your AI girlfriend might have actually been recording the whole time. Maybe you can ask
so they use that and sell it to marketing agencies.
them to send it to you. You remember the good times. Amazon caught a
So so see, this specific extension does that, so you can just understand and imagine how valuable the just the interactions that you have with these models is to those companies, because this is very intimate to some people. They don't realize that you're still talking to a product that is still actively trying to make money off of you, and people pour their hearts out, their hearts out. um they use it as therapy. They try to get um insight into their lives, so they give a lot of context, a lot of personal things, to these models, and these conversations, they're all going to be harvested by the companies that own those models to train the next generation of models. So you're going to have something crazy where it's going to feel very close to talking to a person that understands you, understands exactly what you're going through, but it won't. it won't. It's just because you're giving more context with uh, properly trained data. If we're talking about that specific aspect, so yeah, that's not looking good, man.
North Korean infiltrator working in its IT systems thanks to something almost invisible: typing lag. Security teams noticed keystrokes from a supposedly US-based worker were taking over 110 milliseconds to reach Seattle. Way longer than expected, and definitely something that would show up in their performance review. But really, that tiny delay suggested the laptop was being controlled from halfway across the world. Amazon traced the activity, confirmed it was part of a North Korean remote work scheme, and kicked the contractor out within days. I knew.
As we saw, is it? That's not him. There was another guy who got caught. I think we saw him as this week. So they infiltrated the company. That was the Linux attack. So yeah, they actually apply, get real jobs, and work for a very long time. And the yeah, I think that's the one. Yeah, that's it. XZ Backdoor unveiling the elaborate social engineering tactics of a persistent threat actor. So you have an actor that starts working for a company and he does regular work. He's not raising suspicions for years and years. This specific one was 3 years, and he was working and improving real stuff until then was the time to put the attack in motion, and he tried to insert a backdoor inside of I think the operating system, the this package that is integrated in one of Linux's distributions. But thankfully, it was caught because this specific distribution has a very high adoption rate with servers all around the world. So it would effectively would have been like open door for North Korea and like a good chunk of servers on the internet. It would have been a lot of damages. But you're gonna see this more and more. Just people that they con companies for a very long time just to exploit them.
Some companies were tracking their employees, but this is ridiculous. Whoa. And a Chinese tech company called Limex Dynamics just showed off Tron 2, a robot that appears to consist of a waist torso module thing with 2 limbs that can be swapped between having legs or arms depending on the job, but not both. Full robot bodies are so 2025. The launch video shows the robot lifting stuff and doing a variety of tasks, but despite its cool and original Tron name, there's no Daft Punk or Nine Inch Nails score. Unfortunately, it doesn't even.
We already saw these type of robots being controlled by somebody else remotely using like VR. The fact that it has a dedicated camera on top and 2 dedicated cameras, one on each hands, makes me feel like this is really automated. But
there's no Daft
what's the
Punk or
purpose?
Nine Inch Nails score. Unfortunately, it doesn't even leave a neon solid light trail behind it wherever it goes, even when the disembodied robot hips are clearly in its weird doing the splits on rollerblades light cycle mode. But if none of that has you sold, wait till you see this half humanoid perform some very inhumanoid
It's gonna drop to the floor.
rollerblade
Oh no! Whoa!
somersaults. Is this like its mating ritual or something? Whatever
That's
it is,
funny.
it's working. Hey, what are you doing in my swamp? You can't rollerblade here. That's it for
That was a pretty good video.